welcome to the Jacqueline Social Exchange. I'm your host, Mary Daffin. Well, today's guest is a powerhouse in every sense of the word. She leads one of the most influential nonprofits in our region as CEO of United Way. And when she's not mobilizing resources and expanding opportunities, she's shaping policy as a West Sacramento City Council member. She's proof that leadership isn't just about holding titles. It's about building bridges, shifting systems, and making sure the people most often not heard are heard. Today, we welcome our special guest who navigates the three big Ps: philanthropy, politics, and public service, without losing her fire, her sense of humor, or her fabulous smile. Please welcome Dr. Dawnté Early.
Wow. I love that.
Do you?
Yes. I wish I could just bring you around with me everywhere.
Well, I'll give you what I wrote.
Okay. I will make sure my team sends that before I do anything else. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You know, I am such a fan. And I think you know that from the first time you walked into the Jacqueline. I just felt I had a kindred spirit in you. Number one, your energy is contagious. And you just bring a sense of calmness, but not boring at all. Like, it's assuredness. It's assuredness when you walk into the room. I think that's, if I could say anything about you, it's that.
Well, I really appreciate that. And I too, you already know, I love your fashion, your energy. And so I feel like it's reciprocal.
Okay. But I did wear fancy shoes today just for you.
Yes, I saw that. As soon as you walked in, I was like, okay, I see you, queen.
Okay. Because I see your fancy tennis shoes. And I'm going to ask you that at the very end. Okay. But why don't we give our viewers and our listeners kind of a snapshot of your early years, because it wasn't perfect. And I think it's really important for people to know you didn't start where you are.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not even close.
Yeah, I know. So why don't you share some of those years with us?
Absolutely. So I am, for all intents and purposes, from the Sacramento region. I graduated from Folsom High School, went to college to play ball in Alabama. Pretty far away. I loved it though. However, I had my son at 19. And so I had an unplanned pregnancy, but he is a blessing. And but it caused me to shift things, right? So I came back to Davis. I actually transferred to Davis to play basketball, was on the team and everything, but quickly realized that you can't bring a baby on a bus.
No.
I wish you could. And so I had to find a new dream. And that's really when I think about how I started and got to where I'm at now is what happened. And so discovered research, discovered data. I think when we talked prepping for this, I told you I had originally wanted to be a medical doctor, and did an internship in a veterinarian surgical lab. And on the third time of us opening up an animal and me fainting, I quickly realized I need to shift again. And so that's when I discovered the McNair Scholars Program, which is an amazing program to support minority students who had not gone to graduate school. I found my amazing mentors, and fast forward, graduated with a PhD in human development and a minor in quantitative psychology. And all along, my son went to classes with me. And as I was learning about child development and human development, I had a growing child right next to me.
You had somebody to practice on.
Yes. No, I literally did, but he was right there with me. And so I was learning how to parent him at the same time.
Wow. And so what is your son's name?
My son's name is Kingston.
Kingston. And does he live here locally?
He does. He actually right now is at ARC.
Okay.
Which I absolutely love. We're, again, very, very local. And he hopes to transfer to Sac State, even though I'm an Aggie. And
that's okay, Mom.
I know. I love Sac State as well.
Okay.
Go Hornets.
Go Hornets.
Fingers up and all the things.
Yes.
And so, again, very, very fortunate.
Mm-hmm. I hope to get Luke Wood in this chair one day.
Oh, my God. I love Dr. Wood. Love him.
Yes. Well, as a member, I see him come in, but I don't ever, he's usually with colleagues, so I don't really get to connect with he and his wife's name, Adara.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Lovely couple.
Yes,
Lovely couple.
They're both brilliant.
They're both brilliant?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
absolutely.
Okay. Wow.
100%. I think she chairs at San Diego, I think.
Oh.
The child development department.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
she's
to know.
Wonderful as well.
Well, good. Okay.
Yeah.
So CEO and city council, lots of hats.
Yes.
And
mom.
And mom.
Wife.
And wife. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So do you see yourself as a bridge builder, policymaker, activist, or is it something kind of totally different if someone were describing you?
I would say at any given moment, it depends on what hat I'm wearing. Sometimes it's all three. Sometimes, right, it's one, and depends on, what table I'm at that time. I think as an activist on city council, I'm constantly wanting to make sure that communities that I come from that typically would not have a seat at that table or not have a voice, that I'm channeling and bringing that lived experience to the decisions that we are making in the room so that we can really have those discussions. As a nonprofit CEO, and as we think about what are the services that our community needs, much of those services, I too, right, as a young teen mom, used and experienced. And so, oftentimes I will put that hat on, remembering back, what was I going through? What did I need at that time? And so that's often a voice I bring to the table as well. And then just a bridge builder. I think it's really important that we're not only thinking about especially as a city council member, just my city and our jurisdiction, but regionally. Oftentimes, I'll say, as people are driving across all of our different counties, they're not thinking about, okay, and now I've crossed over to City of Sacramento, and now I've crossed over to West Sacramento, right? They just want everything to work and be seamless. And I think it's our responsibility to be able to provide that.
Well, I know West Sac and Sacramento, there's such a camaraderie, and I don't think about them as separate. When I cross that bridge, I don't.
Yes.
I'm going to West Sac, but it's not like it's a different city.
Exactly.
I'm just going to a different borough of New York, but it's all Sacramento.
Yeah, and you just need it to work.
I
right?
just need it to work. Thank you.
And that's our job.
Okay, good. I'm glad that it's your job, not mine. Okay, so now you touched on it a little bit. People like me. And the services that you needed. So current day, some of those services are being taken away from a federal level.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what does that do to you, Dawnté? It has to cut at the core of who you are as a person.
It is. It's difficult. It's a really hard time to be in the service area of serving people. When it feels like oftentimes the communities that we care about and we serve, the most vulnerable among us, are being attacked, are being villainized. And so it definitely has been a challenging time. This has been a tough year to be a nonprofit leader. And oftentimes when I see my colleagues, I look at them and, in general, you'll say, hey, how are you doing? But this time it's like, no, really. How are you doing? Right? Because it's hard right now.
Because I've talked to some nonprofit executive directors here, and they're telling me, I lost $1 million of funding.
Yeah.
I lost this. Or now we have to do away with mental health care for the people that we serve.
Yeah. It's hard. And it's not only just hard as a leader, but it's hard on our team, right? The folks who are seeing our clients every single day. I know a few months in to the current administration, my team provides housing services in Solano County, across counties. But this one was happening in Solano. And we had served a family, had kept them housed, right? It was a family with 4 kiddos, the oldest 13, and the father ended up getting deported. 2 weeks later, so did the mom, and the 4 kids were left here. And my team
just
were
left,
and my team were like, "What do we do?" And just it's heart-wrenching to feel like you are trying to make progress, right? And it's almost as if you're just trying to dump water out of a boat that has holes on it while someone is also trying to dump water into the boat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so it can sometimes feel very, very daunting. I try to hold on to hope, and I also try to hold on to joy, because I think joy is a form of resistance as well. And just being intentional about that.
This episode is sponsored by Miro Pictures, a creative and consulting agency dedicated to transforming stories into powerful narratives and helping your brand stand out in a competitive market. Elevate your brand today by visiting miropictures.com. That's MERO pictures.com. So you wear these two hats, CEO and city council. How do they inform each other? And do they help each other, or do sometimes they get in the way of each other? I don't know how to say that, but yes.
I would say they definitely inform each other. Oftentimes when I'm wearing my hat as a United Way CEO, I think to myself, as a city council member, what would I want to know about the services that are happening in my city? How would I want to be informed? And so oftentimes I think that nonprofits that perform and provide services in different cities and counties don't realize that after you perform that service, or even while you're performing those services, me as an elected, sometimes there's a disconnection, right? And so I vote for it and then I never hear about it again, right?
Correct.
Unless I'm hearing from a resident, right, or a constituent that either is praising it or complaining, right? But I would love to hear, how is it going, right? Give me a check-in. And so as a nonprofit CEO, oftentimes I'll say, hey, can we check back in with that county supervisor or with that council member? Because I know they care about it, and most likely they don't know what's happening, right?
They don't know what's happening.
And you do all of this work as a council member. You're trying to do good, right? And so you want to hear, did it work? It's the things, right?
I mean,
that
you are
invest in?
truly boots on the ground.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
I tell everyone, you need to know one person. You need to know your city council person. I don't care where you live. It is, I think, the most important politician that you can know personally.
Local government impacts your daily life. Absolutely. And you would be shocked how many people don't know who their city council member is. I ask it all the time, no matter what city I'm in. But like, hey, who's your representative? And oftentimes they'll be like, oh, I'm embarrassed to say I don't know. And I'm like, you should Google it, look it up, right? Yes. To figure out, are your needs being met when you think about your city streets, when you think about your public safety, both your fire and your police, when you think about your parks, all of that that's impacting your daily life is your city council member.
Member. Yep. Mine's on speed dial.
Who is almost always, right? In City of Sacramento, I think it's a little bit different. But in your surrounding jurisdictions, they get a small stipend. They are, I think, the truest public servants because they are doing this out of love and community service.
Okay, I have to tell you, when I found out the stipend, I was like, girl,
it's a volunteer job.
It is a volunteer job. That's a dry cleaning bill. For a month.
But
gosh.
That's why, I tell
you have
folks,
to
right?
love it.
You do. And you have to love people, and you have to be truly, truly committed to your community to step up and do this job. I had no idea. I thought I had an idea, right? As we all do when we step up and say, like, yes, I had no idea how much. It's why when I talk to former city council members in my city, I just say thank you, right? You gave 13 years, 20 years of your life to this. And it really is, like I said, the purest public service. And
not only that, you very seldom, just human nature, there's very seldom people that come back and say thank you. Yeah. Most of the time you hear the opposite of what was wrong and how it didn't work. And
it's like a Yelp review, right?
It's
like rarely do you get like a lot of positives on Yelp, right?
Yes. Because number one, it is so many times if it's anonymous, then I think people are brutal. But when you go face to face, and this is really interesting about what you do, when you are in a council meeting and you see the people that you represent, I think it changes the trajectory of the meeting and of their opinion of you. Don't you?
I do. It's funny. I was at the Jägermeister Finals Cup yesterday. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, interesting. And was this which hat were you wearing?
This was just my mom hat. I was with my daughter, and I was, saying hi to folks. I'm a very social person, as are you. And one of my friends was like, hey, I want you to meet some West Sacramentans. And I was like, oh my gosh, hello. I love meeting West Sacramentans. And they were like, you don't know this, but a couple meetings ago, my dad came and presented to you guys, and you were so kind and so understanding. Thank you so much for what you do and how you treated him. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. Okay, so balancing your life, because you have a big, big life. I mean, when I see you in the Jacqueline, there's always an agenda. You're on you have limited time.
Yes.
How do you stay? Because both jobs, there's a lot.
Yes.
When I say a lot, you you can intersect with people at their possible worst time, their lowest, when they need something, or when something has gone completely awry.
Yeah.
And that is taxing.
It is.
It is. So what do you do for you to stay balanced? Because you have to go home, and you are a wife and a mom.
Yeah.
So how does all of that work?
Well, I will say, I think for a while it has not worked well. I feel like I wasn't putting in what I needed to, as far as like my health, my well-being, for the past couple years. However, I tell the story when my colleague, Karina, Councilmember Roscoe, when she was diagnosed with cancer, for me, it was a moment to pause. I remember, she found out and came immediately to our council meeting that day. Can you imagine finding out that you have cancer and then going to a council meeting?
No.
Your volunteer job? And I remember sitting there, and she told me that she had just found out. And I was like, what are you doing here? And for her, it was important, right? This is something that brings her joy. But it also, she was a wake-up call. Like, she had felt something was happening, but she didn't really have the time or the space, and didn't make the time or space, right? Because she too, busy career, busy volunteer job, busy mom, right? And I think for women, that happens so much. We pour into others. And in this case, as a city council member, as a nonprofit leader, right? It's constantly pouring until you're pouring from an empty cup. And so for me, that started me pausing and, going and getting my first mammogram, right? And trying to take better care of myself. And I will say this year, I've really doubled down on that. I'm going to less events. I'm making time to exercise again, something that I really, really love to do. Again, former college athlete.
I know, a former athlete.
But
I mean,
man, it had fallen off. It had fallen off.
Well, I mean, when you prioritize, we're not in that as women.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. When you're thinking about all the things, right, that have to be taken care of, including your kids. My daughter's 12, right? And she also needs time. And I love hanging out with her and doing things. Anyways, and so this year I have gotten back in the gym 5 days a week. And then on the 6th day, I joined a boxing gym.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, which is so fun.
Okay.
Right? I love it. I love getting on the heavy bag, right? And just...
tearing it up.
Yep.
All those
letting
people.
off some steam.
So do you do this in West Sac?
So I have a gym that I've been a part of for a very long time. And so I have re-engaged in that, and that's in West Sacramento. Results.
Love it.
And then there's an amazing gym actually close to here, Flawless, that's been around for a while.
Yes.
Okay, good. You are familiar.
Yes, I do know.
And so they're amazing trainers, everything. So, yeah,
So do you like going in and having somebody tell you what to do?
Oh my gosh. So that's my favorite part.
Me
right?
too.
So at my gym in West Sacramento, right? What I love is I know for 1 hour, right? As long as I do this, I'm going to be good, right? I can literally turn off my brain. And the same thing goes for boxing. It's just like you focus on the moves, you focus on the steps, you focus on hitting the bag harder, right? You focus on the speed bag. And so, yeah, that's fun. That's my thing.
Okay, yeah, you can have these great
yeah.
arms.
Oh, yeah. And I lift heavy, right? Because as women, as we get older,
yes,
right?
I hear it all the time. Lift heavier. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm constantly like, can I lift this up? Yes. Okay. I need to go a little bit more.
But doesn't it do something? I mean, I like feeling strong.
Same.
There's something liberating about it.
You stand up straighter.
Stand
right?
up straighter. All the
Yeah.
things. Okay. So you deal with lots of challenges, just all the time. We know that you take care of yourself now, and I think that's really important. But there's a different aspect to that. Where does your hope come from?
It's going to sound like a cliche, but honestly, my hope comes from my kiddos, both of them. My daughter is just such a firecracker, and I oftentimes will get, like I said, joy and hope from her. And kind of looking at things from her perspective. When you have, right, kids, it's just like, that's an interesting way of like, right? And they make you real, and like you can't put on any sort of farce with them. And so definitely my hope comes from them. My hope comes from our mission moments, quite frankly, at United Way, right? I love helping people. It's so funny. My daughter asked me like, why do you, even when I'm not working, right? She's like, well, why did you do that? Like, why did you let the person, whatever? And I'm just like, because for me, it feels good to help others. Like sometimes I feel like just as much joy and, like you said, hope from just giving to someone else.
Mm-hmm. I like to give people compliments that I don't know.
Yes.
Like, that's my thing. My husband's like, come on, you've given 4 compliments. It's time to go.
You're lighting up people's day.
I just think, that's free. Mm-hmm. We need to do it all the time. If someone looks good, tell them. If you like their hair, share that.
Absolutely.
If their kid is having a meltdown, give them words of encouragement.
Right.
So as a CEO of United Way, and you have been put into such a big leadership role.
I know, it's crazy.
I know.
I had no idea what they were doing.
Yes, they did. Stop. Okay, so your style, what do people assume about you but is wrong?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Now, I will guess what people assume about me.
Or they may say, oh, I thought you were going to be this way, but you're this way. You know, I hear it all the time here at the Jacqueline.
I feel like I don't, people don't necessarily share that with me.
Oh.
I think people might, I think we might have talked about this. I think people might assume that I'm nicer than I really am.
But wait a minute.
I'm friendly.
But what's the difference? Let's talk about the difference between nice and kind, because we have marathon conversations here about it. So go. I want to hear what you have to say.
I mean, when I think of the word nice, I think oftentimes, particularly with girls and women, right? It's just like, smile, be nicer, right? All the things.
Smile.
Yes. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, right? I'm a smiler. But I think being kind is something different, right? I think, and like I said, we chatted about this. I think there is kindness and clarity. I think there is kindness and being very upfront. And sometimes, right, for folks who aren't used, particularly from a woman, hearing the unvarnished truth, right, radical honesty, that maybe doesn't always feel kind, but it is kind, which is very different than being nice. I think nice is sugarcoating things.
Sugarcoating.
When
Not
I
necessarily. I do. And also, she's so nice.
Yes.
And I've been told, Mary, you're nice. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm kind.
Yes. Yeah.
But nice, I don't think I am nice. Yeah. I don't want to be nice. I want to be kind, which is a difference.
Same.
So, I love this. And I didn't ask you this, but I am.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, so you juggle data reports, council agendas, budgets, community events, mom roles, wife roles. Which role gets you the most phone calls before 7 a.m. in the morning?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I would say, well, my husband doesn't have to call me at 7 a.m. He can just roll over.
He just rolls over.
However, probably United Way gets me the most calls before 7 a.m. Mm-hmm. So being a president and CEO.
Mm-hmm. What are those calls like? You don't have to divulge any information, but are they staff? Are they crisis? Are they what is it?
A combination, right? Mm-hmm. Before 7 a.m., typically it's a crisis. Mm-hmm. My chief of resource development, especially like my first year to year and a half, it was rough. Oh man, just being
Share
a
how
leader.
long you've been in the role.
I've been in the role for almost 4 years. At the end of 2021, I took this role. I said, I was elected in October, first African-American ever to be elected to City Council in West Sac. So I was elected in October, and then I was offered this position in November, within a month, right? So I had no idea that I was taking on these 2 really big roles.
And one is volunteer,
right?
Basically.
No idea. And so that first year and a half was rough. And so I would say many of my challenging phone calls, right? Crisis, whether it be staff, whether it be services, right? Or something along those lines would happen before 7. My chief of RD would sometimes text me and say, can we talk? And I knew.
Yes. Before 7, can we talk? You're going to be talking about an issue. This is not congratulations.
Right. And now when she sends me that text message, I'm triggered. And she'll be like, and I'll call her, I'll be like, what's going on? She'll be like, it's nothing bad.
Nothing bad, but kind of.
Right. Yeah.
So when you look at both of your roles, what are you the most excited about in each? Like looking to the future.
Absolutely. So like I said, leading a nonprofit right now with everything that's happening is a challenge, but I think I'm hopeful about our community coming together. It's one of the reasons why I love the Sacramento region, right? We take care of our own no matter what's happening federally. And so I have been re-energized by a lot of the innovation and the thought partnership that I'm getting from other leaders within our community. And so that's very, I guess, hopeful for me as I'm looking forward to the future of just how will we, kind of like what happened in COVID, right? Where we threw the rule books out and it was just like, we just figured it out. Right?
You have to figure it out.
And problems that for whatever reason, we had never been able to figure out, right? How do you work from home? All of a sudden, everyone is working from home.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
And now no one wants to go back to the office.
Exactly. That's because it works, right? And as many of the challenges that we are going to be facing, I think I am looking forward to the innovation that will also come from that challenge, right? The growth that is going to have to happen from these challenges. And so I'm looking forward to that. As a mom, my daughter is in middle school this year.
Ooh,
and
middle school can be rough.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh.
Rough.
But like I said, she's a firecracker. So she gets it honest.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I constantly look forward to seeing her grow. Like I said, my son's at ARC, and so I get a lot of joy just from seeing him grow and develop. And he's just in such a different place than I was when I was his age, because again, I was a young mom, all the things. And so I'm excited about the world of opportunities for him.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
You can see opportunities. What a great word.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I know that we're short on time, but what would you say your mantra to live by, or your words of wisdom that you share with people, or just something that you hold dear to yourself?
So for especially my first couple years of being a new CEO, because I really didn't know what I was doing, I really embraced the idea of just fail forward, right? So don't be afraid of failing. In fact, again, as a researcher, you learn from those, right? So even when things maybe don't work out in the way that you thought or had intended, you learn something from that. And as long as you're continuing to move forward and again, like striving to challenge yourself, I think that would be my mantra.
Your mantra to keep on doing it.
Yeah, fail forward.
Fail forward. Yay.
Yes.
That was fun.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, honestly, and it is fun, right? Because for me, I'm constantly trying to stretch and grow.
Thank you so much for being here with us today,
Thank you.
and being a founding member of the Jacqueline.
Yes, I'm very proud to be a founding member. I would say the one thing we didn't touch on, but I think is really important, is all of the networking, right? For me, many of the jobs, I actually think almost every single position that I've had has been because of someone I knew who connected me or my network. And so I love coming in here. No matter how busy I am, I get a chance to like stop and chat with someone I know. It's like, having friends and family.
People ask who you are.
Oh, do they?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They're like, is she important? I'm like, girl, is she? Wow. Let me tell you.
Aww.
So I do a little commercial for
Yes.
you.
I appreciate it. I do commercials for you all the time.
Oh, good. Well,
I love coming here. I mean,
I know
it
you
really
do.
is a wonderful, wonderful space. And it's a safe space. And I think that's
safe
really
space.
important.
I love when people say that.
Yeah.
Because it's beautiful and safe.
Yeah. And that's important.
It is important for us. Thank you so much for being here. How do people stay in touch with you? How do they find out about what you're doing, your different hats? How do they do that?
Absolutely. So you could go to yourlocalunitedway.org and you can find out about how to volunteer with United Way.
How to donate.
How to donate. Thank you so much. That's also really important, particularly right now, right? Our mission is to end poverty in the capital region. It's a huge mission, and it only happens with all of us working together. For City of West Sacramento, you literally could go to City of West Sacramento's website, and you can email me.
There's a picture of you on the website.
There is a picture of me on the website. You could also Google me. I'm on Instagram, though, and LinkedIn. People contact me in the most creative, varied ways.
And Facebook.
And Facebook, yes. If there's a social media, I'm on it.
I know it. And I love that about you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed meeting Dr. Dawnté Early, City Council person from West Sacramento and CEO of United Way. If you want to stay in touch with the Jacqueline, you go to our website, thejacqueline.com. Jacqueline is spelled JACQUELYN, or you can join us on Instagram at thejacqueline.official. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you soon. Bye.